Perhaps since we've already heard from Ms. Le and Captain Hosanna a while ago, I will start with this question to Doc Generato. Doc, now we've heard from the presentation of Ms. Le and Captain Hosanna a while ago. With this advancement in technologies, various providers, how is Marina gearing up for their compliance? It is laudable that a while ago, Sir Sam again lauded about Marina Best and the various initiative of Marina. What other regulatory initiatives are underway to support digital recruitment and retention? And looking forward, how will Marina prepare the Philippines for the IMO's mascot or the Maritime Autonomous Surfer ships and the competencies needed for seafarers to operate in increasing automated environments? Sir?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to meet Sir Sam and Disney West. Pleasant good afternoon. So before anything else, I'd like to quote a simple quote from Jimmy Dean that says, "I cannot change the direction of the wind, but I can adjust my sail to always reach my destination." So with a simple saying that goes, we need to adapt. So there are four pillars that we need to look and give focus, especially on AI integrations that we are doing in the office. These four pillars goes directly with number one is really the infrastructure that we have. It boils down to all. Second is the curriculum. These focus for our higher maritime institutions that we have, educations that we have, schools. Third is the manpower. Sa manpower po, this is very crucial because this will not only focus on the students. We need to train the trainers. We need to train the people behind to train the students. And lastly, we need to adjust all regulatory function, especially for the IMO and EMSA. So with these four pillars, this is our foundation, how to move on with AI as we progress along the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc Generato. Now, looking at the practitioner in the field, Captain Hosanna, as a seafarer yourself, you mentioned a while ago, with a mass code coming, autonomous vessels may be closer than we think. Next year, May 2026, if I'm not mistaken, they're trying to finalize and adopt the mass code. What digital competencies must Filipino seafarers develop now to stay competitive? And how can we prepare even our domestic fleet for that ship?
Well, good afternoon. Thank you for the question. Sir Sam, good afternoon. And for everybody's here, everyone in the room, good afternoon. We are now entering an era where mass is getting into shape. So, we should not we have to adapt with this. Enough with the just seamanship skills. Because the just seamanship skills are those traditional. We are now, transforming in everything. For the transformation, or what does it need for us to get in there? Literacy. Okay? The cybersecurity is there. What do I mean by literacy? Well, we are now transforming even the digital bridge systems, the fuels. So, and the third one is, of course, we have to empower also our training centers to adapt with the change. Because Filipinos are known to be globally resilient and adaptive. If we empower them with this, it starts with training. If we empower them with good quality training, then there's nothing to be afraid of. Filipinos will still lead the industry. Okay? So, andyan pa rin ang Filipinos, we will lead, and it will turn our shipping green with these technologies and the trainings that we are going to adopt.
Thank you very much, sir. On that note, since we've been talking about domestic and a while ago, you alluded, Ma'am Le, that you're open on partnerships with other. Let's zoom in on the domestic shipping of the Philippines. Recruitment in our domestic sector is still mostly manual and informal. You mentioned that a while ago. We see anecdotal examples here. You mentioned a while ago of Calao as well, with placards bannering for hiring. Many domestic ship owners face weak internet. That's one. They also have limited budgets and little IT staff. How can AI, do you think, how can AI-driven platforms and digital tools such as yours modernize recruitment here, especially for small ship owners?
Thank you very much for your thoughtful questions. So from our perspective, I can say that we are built for the small people in our mind because we believe that the small and medium business worldwide is a driving force of the future. For a big company, it's very easy to name a few AI system and digitalize the platform and the processes. But for a small business, local businesses, of course, you name correctly that they don't not have the IT capability. So when we talk about AI, I think first of all, we should balance between the practicality and the ambitions of using AI. Are we ready for a system like AI, even though we have weak internet, we have bad connections? Talking about AI too soon before we have the right infrastructure is not, I would say, is not prudent. So we think from other perspective, before we jump to AI, we forgot one middle step is automations, processes. So all the processes right now that we could have done on the paperwork can actually be translated to a simple button process, an automation on a digital platform. And especially that digital platform should be simple to use, should be available offline, should be able to use even on weak internet and on mobile app or on the desktop both. So these are the things that I believe are most suitable for small and medium businesses. And in the end of the day, for a company with no IT specialist, learning something should be a very short learning curve. Shouldn't take them a month of training their people just to use a system that they're going to use every day. It should be taking them less than half an hour. And most of that should be so user intuitive that you can use it by yourself, not needing anyone to kind of show you or teach you. That's why we model our program on the social media. We know how much you love and use social media. So we use it in a way where it's most useful for you and it doesn't take you more than half an hour to understand and learn the system. We are many size fit many needs. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love the focus of this panel because it's about digitalization, social media, and really youth-centric. And on that note, I think that's yesterday or 2 days ago, we have the 10 outstanding maritime students of the Philippines. And we are talking, you were there, Captain Sir Sam was there. Actually, I saw people from the 10 outstanding a while ago here. Now, when we discuss about digitalization and technologies, it's often geared towards the youth. For the three of you, since we have been looking at it, which may only favor, digitalization will only favor the young, the new blood. But we must ensure that we leave no one behind. And I'm now looking at our experienced seafarers. How do we ensure that we do not exclude them in these conversations about digitalizations, acknowledging that there may be a training gap, an infrastructure gap, perhaps for our old or experienced seafarers. Let's call them that one. So I think let's start again with Miss Les since I already have you a while ago.
I think it's hard to say old seafarers. I would say more, previous generations, the baby boomer of our time. I don't think that they are very bad with technology, to be honest. I think that it's a technology that being built with the mindset of younger people in mind. Like, for example, my mother would use Facebook and she's easily can use Facebook, but putting her on TikTok and she couldn't grasp it. Because it was built for very different generations, different attention span, different skill sets. So I say the system should be inclusive by default. So you're not building a system for only young people. You use a system that is inclusive by default, which means any user of any age, as long as you have a basic knowledge of logic, you can actually figure out the system. And this is what we wanted to focus on. And also the system should fulfill, I think, minimal 3 requirement. It should be accessible. So even if you are, you have eyesight problems, you have, mobility problems, you can still use an app that is designed by inclusivity. This is what we are looking on. Well, also for the seafarer who belong to the provinces and have limited access, you should have an offline version of the app for the seafarer to be able to use to save the internet. Because these are the things that we keep in mind when we're designing our platform. But of course, we still have a long way to go, and this is one of the matter I think that we would also investigate even further and make it even more useful for seafarer of all ages. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's hear it from Sir Captain Hosanna.
Thank you for that. You know, at Seeker, we believe that digitalization should not be exclusive. It should be an enabler, and it should empower everyone. So with that, I guess we have to start with upskilling our seafarers. And then of course we have to check. We have released systems that are very intuitive, very simple, that can run on a very low memory for the phones of the seafarers. So a while ago, we were demonstrating everything back in our booth, how they are going to download it, even on a very old phone, so that they can use it. And of course, the collaboration, of course, with the government. I believe a shared responsibility on data with the government, it will really help everyone. Because, of course, without the regulators, of course, we will have a very challenging management also of our seafarers and its datas.
Thank you very much, Captain. Now I'm looking at you, Doc Generato, because Captain Hosanna alluded about upskilling. When we talk about recruitment, we also have to address retention. We cannot just go hire and hire and hire and not retain those we hire. It's expensive to train only for them to leave sometime later. But job hopping is common in the maritime industry, and the Gen Zers can attest that they favor companies with values, a culture that empowers and commits to sustainability. So my question for you, Doc Generato, is, with the advent of maritime autonomous surfer ships, training is a key retention factor. But many let's focus on the domestic seafarers prefer to stay with their family in the province than to travel to Manila for courses. How can digital and blended learning expand access on that one?
Well, first of all, we are not entering an era where technology replaces people, but it rewards those who are prepared for it. Let me read this one, the notes that I prepared. In today's rapid evolving digital age, particularly the industries like maritime, logistics, transportation, there is a common misconception that technological advancement, especially AI and automation, is a threat to human labor. However, this narrative misses a deeper truth. Technology is not inherently about replacement. It is about enhancement. It's about rewarding those who are willing to adopt, upskill, and lead in a new digital paradigm. So regardless you want to work in the domestic, as long as you keep up yourself, you will find job. Those who are digitally literate, technologically curious, and proactive will find themselves not be displaced but empowered, taking the roles that more strategic, safer, and more data-informed than ever. From maritime engineers leveraging predictive maintenance tools, fleet managers using real-time analytics for better routing, technology is amplifying human capability. Ultimately, this era will not divide the unemployed and the unemployed, employed and the unemployed. But it is the adaptable and the resistance. This will divide them. So looking for your question, how it will help them. If those people from outskirts will not help themselves to get new set of skills to adopt for the future, definitely there's no age restriction for you to change, to adopt, and definitely you will left behind. Regardless if you're Gen Z, if you will not keep update yourself, you will be left behind. If you are old but you adopt yourselves, training yourself and new skills, definitely you will learn a job. So that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I think my takeaway for your speech a while ago, Captain, is we are not entering an era that technology replaces people. Quotable, I should say. Should remember that. Now, looking at future trends, Miss Le and then Captain Hosanna, From what you see with your technologies, what are the trends that users value most? Is it more on education or networking or something else? Are you tracking that with your...
For me, what we are seeing on our platform, it's the career growth of every seafarer. Everyone's asking for promotion. Everyone's asking for deployment. From there on, it's the biggest chunk of our pie in our system. That's why it's the first thing that we develop. Everyone's looking for work. So they want job. They want to earn. They want to feed their families. So that's the biggest chunk. The second one is the training and education. So that's the second one we put up. And the third one is coming from education. Yes, we targeted the students, the one in the maritime schools. So they are these guys who are, tech savvy, who can be, of course, our future seafarers as well. So if you're asking me about the chunk in our pie, I would say it's manning and then the training and education.
How about from your end, Miss Le?
I think from my perspective and from my discussions with the seafarers, especially in our community, of course the job and the education is there, but I would dare to venture to go a little bit further. The seafarers that I've been talking to, especially the younger generation, are worried in their career. It's not just the career growth, but the diversity of the career. Not only being stuck in one track career where you start with one type of engine, one type of ship, you want to stuck with it forever. You have no other way to go. You cannot change ships. You cannot upgrade tonnage. You cannot change the engines. You cannot go from cargo to cruise. You cannot go from the sea to the shore. Where is the diversity? Why are we forcing our people into a pigeonhole where they feel like, one step and that's it? They lock up for life in some kind of career prison that is, inescapable. This scare the young people as well. What if they get bored? What if they feel like it's not right for them? Can they grow? Can they change? Why are we making it so difficult for them to change? So this is something that is worth noting. And the second part I would say is because I'm a female, and speaking from a female's perspective, we encourage equality and gender equality and diversity, and we bring a lot of young female seafarers on board without thinking what would happen to them 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, when it is a social responsibility, within the biological clock for a seafarer, a female seafarer, to have a family, to raise a family. What are we providing for them? Are we having maternity leave? Are we training them so that they can move to an office job? Are they have the ability to have short-term contract? So these social responsibility that combine with the career choices are some things that we need to think about before we, pushing our agenda out there. So think about it as the eventual end of each person, and how we are supporting them instead of just, raising the flag and say, oh no, this question easy for the number, easy for, I have 50% of female seafarers in my fleet. What we will do for them after? That is my questions. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Miss Le. Now let's go back again to you, Doc Generato. Because now we've seen the integration of various technologies coming from a regulatory perspective on data privacy. How, looking at our market and our regulatory landscape, how will Marina transform in ensuring data trust and verification, as we have heard, these platforms will be integrated with seafarers' confidential data? What role will Marina play in safeguarding this privacy and sensitive information, which is under your office?
Well, first of all, as DPO, I usually ask this question: are we sailing the same direction? It's the question that I've asked to us for those who are participants here. Are we sailing in the right direction when it comes to the data privacy? Are you giving your right information to the agency? Is the agency keeping the right and the proper way of informations that we have? So, are all stakeholders, government, industry, schools, and agency moving in sync towards digitally ready maritime sector? The answer is we're heading at the right direction, but not at the same page or not on the same base than each one of us. So, if you look here, the first thing is to empower those people who are gathering the data. Data are very, very crucial. As DPO of Marina, we see to it that we protect your personal data. Your data may be divided into two. You have your personal or your demographic profile, your personal profile, and above all, you have your sensitive personal information. So as I look their products, I was wondering if they have their DPOs, was the data of the seafarers, especially if they are gathering for work related, are they protected? Are their frontline people been trained too? But for us in Marina, we train. We have a yearly data privacy seminar for the frontline services that we have. So it becomes a habit for us to train people on how to manage our data. So we have protocols put in place for those who are asking, even if it's your wife, your so-called second wife, getting your personal data. We are protecting it. So in that manner, that's the same question. Are we going in the same direction? It's the big question that I'd like to ask. Is the students here giving all their personal informations when they apply? So is it secured? It may be in the form of digital, it may be form on manual. Is the keeper or the processor of this data well equipped on how to process this data given to them? It's a very big question. So it is not only a work for Marina, it is a collaborative effort of all stakeholders to protect the data that we have. Regardless what platform we're going to use, as long as the data is there, people can land a job if it is a right and data given to those principles that you have. You may have the data, but it will not contain those data that they need. Those data are useless. So that's the point that we are deriving at. Are we going on the right directions of protecting our data? Thank you.
I completely agree with you, and I love what you say so much because it's actually the same question we're going through when we design our platform, especially when you say about the personal information and the sensitive information. So actually on our profile, we split it completely. So we have a social profile features, and the second feature is a professional profile feature. The only thing that the seafarer make public can only be their name and their pictures if they wish to put one. That's the only thing that was made public. Everything else was private. All the information regarding their work experience and documentations are completely private and private by default. They cannot even switch it on. They cannot even make it public. And the only way they can share it is if they applied and willing to share with a company who also GDPR compliant with us. So that's what we design, and I really like that because that's our spirit as well.
To give you another overview, we are reviewing the new data share agreement with ICS that we have. Okay. So we have our mismo, but definitely by a few years later on, it will be shift to Marina's Best. That's what we're doing for the blockchain. Part of your mismo, even though your data is already there, you will be given the chance to check whether you want to share your data to ICS. We are keepers of your data, but we don't have any mandate to share your data without your consent. So the link is already there. It's up to you if you want to share it or not. The right still belongs to you. That's what we're doing.
And another thing, yeah, I agree with attorney because what we do also in Seeker, once the seafarer sign ups with us, they take some box and privacy policies. And of course, if they apply for a certain mining agency and share data with their school, yeah, it's the same with Josephine. We only show the vital or the very basic information of the seafarer. And once our platform partners wants to access deeper, then he must ask permission to the seafarers, and the seafarer should approve it. Otherwise, no data will be transferred.
Thank you very much. So, what is the greatest opportunity AI will bring for Filipino seafarers and the domestic shipping sector when it comes to safety and sustainability? Let's start with you, Ms. Le.
I'm very sorry that Pradeep Chawla are not here, but if he's here, he will be very happy because I will be selling his product. But I very much like the ideas that AI will be quite crucial in terms of providing by-side training, especially trainings on safety for seafarers who are, who are less likely to be able to attend a full course, land-based course trainings or a full lengthy e-learning process. But the by-size or gamify of the trainings are the key to educate the new generation on the listed regulation, but also on the safety feature in this ever-changing world. So as for me, is a number one hope. Yeah.
Oh, for us, I guess the greatest opportunity AI can give is the chance to be being proactive rather than being reactive. AI helps us, starting already to help us detect future accidents before it happens. For sustainability, it now recognize how we are going to optimize our fuels. For the manpower sector, AI is giving us a decision support partner that makes everything easy for our judgment. And I think if we equip our Filipino seafarers with the right tool and how they are going to manage the data and the AI itself, I guess Filipinos will still continue to be the number one player in the maritime shipping industry.
Let me summarize my end thoughts for this. No? As we stand this pivotal moment in maritime history, it is clear that the future will belong to those who embrace change. That's what is all AI all about. This is not a threat, but an opportunity for us. The winds of AI and digitalization are powerful forces shaping our industry. As what Jimmy Dean wisely reminds us that while we cannot control the direction of the wind, we can adjust the sails that we have. Let us commit by equipping our Filipino seafarers with the right skills, the tools, and support they need to navigate the new era of confidence and resilience. Let us forge stronger partnership with the government, industry, and education to build a workforce ready not just to meet global standard, but to set them. Together, by aligning our visions and effort, we can ensure that the Philippines continues to be proud leader of maritime manpower, empowered by technology, driven by excellence, and anchored to the spirit of adaptability. That's what is all AI all about.